talking tackles today. The big boys on the outside, the blind side blockers. And one of these guys, I practice saying his name. So I swear you better not roast me in the comments. What is up, Finn fans? Talking tackles, back on the draft train. I did not put a video out yesterday. Do apologize for that. I was just completely swamped with my daughter being up till 5 a.m. the night before, going to physical therapy. I just needed a day. So you're getting a video today and you're getting a video tomorrow to make up for not giving you guys a video yesterday. I do apologize. But we're going to jump into this. We're going to talk tackles. But first and foremost, I got to pay for the bills, baby. I got to keep these lights on. And we have to shout out today's sponsor. And you know all about them. And that is BetUS. I've talked about them a lot. They are a great betting site. Number one, reliable, great betting site. Have a bunch of different sports on there, from baseball to basketball to casinos, all that good stuff. If you use the promo code JOIN125, you get your first 3 deposits up to 125%. Great, up to $2,500. Go check them out. Click the link in the description. Like I said, use the promo code JOIN125. 24/7 customer service, 24-hour payout, fast, easy, reliable. Go check them out. And BetUS, again, thank you so much for sponsoring me, not only through the season, but now through the off season. You have helped me and this channel out a lot. So let's jump into this, and we're going to talk about these tackles, these big boys. We're going to start 5-1. Now, I will say this. There were some tackles on here that I took off because I don't think they are going to play tackle in the NFL. Now, like Barton, he's a guy who is listed as tackle on PFF. He is probably going to play guard. And so he will be in the next video when we talk about guards. Also, I'm going to butcher. I haven't practiced his name. Fashanu. Some people have him listed as a tackle. He's going to be a guard again. So there's two guys on here that you might be like, hey, why didn't you mention so-and-so? I'm also not mentioning Joe Holt because the Dolphins aren't going to be drafting him. I'm mentioning guys that will be at 21 and possibly 55 in that area that the Dolphins have a possibility of drafting. So we're going to start this off with my number 5 guy, and that is Tyler Gutton. Tyler Gutton, Oklahoma, sorry. 6'7", 327 pounds. A huge human being. He ran a 5.19 40. He's fast. He's got fast movement. Some think he could possibly play tight end. Fast off the ball. Defensive background shows up there. Again, he was on the opposite side of the ball. So having that mentality of what the guys in front of you are going to possibly do and being able to counteract it, very good. His kick slides cover a ton of ground without him overextending, which is great because, you know, especially at tackle, and I'm going to, speaking of knowing defensively, when you want to get outside quick, right? Boom, because you're down like this, and you got these fast defensive ends who are coming off quick on the edge. You want that kick out, that quick kick out, but you don't want to overextend yourself because then you're going to fall on your butt and you're going to kill your quarterback. Boom, he gets out there really quick, and he gets out there wide, which is really good. So he's not off balance. Good power on the initial punch. That's what you want. If you guys have been rocking with me since last season, I talk about the offensive line a lot because, again, I played defensive line for the short period of time I did play football because of injuries and got punched a lot with that hand, and it will move you. As a pass rusher, if you punch on that outside, especially if you're a right tackle or if you're a left tackle, you want to get them away from your quarterback. So very good initial punch. And his hand technique and where to put his hands, because you don't want to go too far on the inside, you don't want to go too far on the outside, has gotten better from 2022 to 2023. Here are his cons. His strike placement is off. So, you know, his hand technique's gotten better, but it's gotten off. And what I mean by that, and I kind of just talked about, you don't want it too far on the outside, you don't want it too far on the inside. Too far on the outside, you're going to get double ripped, or you're going to get ripped to one side. Too far on the inside, you're going to get swim moved on. So you're either going to get spun on. So if I'm a defensive end and the guy comes in too close together with his hands, I can either rip or I can hit and I could spin off of his hands because he's not going to stop me. So his hand placement needs to a little bit more work. Like I said, it's gotten better and that's a plus, but also it's inconsistent, especially when it comes to strike locations, because you want to pop the shoulders. You want to move these defensive ends. He's late to reaction on twists and stunts and stuff like that, which we struggled with. So needs to work on that. He's more of a pusher than a blocker. So these are guys, when you think of that, is more of run blocking guys. Because you'll hear like, oh, why are the Dolphins so good at run blocking, but their pass blocking isn't good? And this guy is kind of, Tyler Gutton is kind of that example where he's more of a pusher. So he's going to grab you and he's going to move you out of the way to open lanes for running. But when it comes to blocking, he struggles there. A high pad level on snaps. You don't want to get too high up off of a snap because you're going to get pushed back. You want to have that equal center of gravity. So to me, that's why I have him at number 5, is because of the hand placements and because of, the struggling in blocking in some aspects. But he's a freak of an animal. Like I said, 6'7", freak of an animal, freak of a human. What am I talking about? 6'7", 327, big man, fast man. If the Dolphins took him at 55, I wouldn't be upset. And, we could see what Butch Berry can do with him. So that's my number 5. My number 4 guy, Jordan Morgan out of Arizona. Another big man, 6'6", 320 pounds, ran a 5.04. So again, big, athletic, overly athletic with good explosion and good speed. These are guys that would fit the zone run style. Because if you remember, we drafted Solomon Kinley and then we switched over to a different style offense. He didn't fit because he was more of a big bruiser. He's more of that, I'm going to stay pat and block for you. Whereas, we bring in a Brewer who is that fast, speedy guy who can fit the zone run. Wide, imposing base in his stance. Not going to knock him over. You're not going to move him. He's very intimidating, very big. Strong hand placement and pass protection. Like I said, you don't want to be too far outside. You don't want to be too far inside. Good core strength for change of direction and quick reaction to stunts and during the game. Important, incredibly important, because they love to run the stunts. Here's the cons. Can get pushed around a bit even when he's in front of defenders. Not good. You don't want when the ball snapped that your offensive lineman is sitting in your lap. Especially your tackles, but more importantly, your middle guys, and we'll get to that in the next video. Need to work on that. He has the athleticism to mirror pass rushers, but doesn't always have the strength to direct them. And what that means is he's fast enough and he has the mobility and the agility to kick out and stay with the defensive end through the whole time, but he doesn't have the hand strength and the movement to move him around the quarterback. So it's easy for the defender to get through him and push him into the quarterback, which needs to work on. Good anchor technique, but lacks sand in the pants to truly stop them cold. And what that means is he's got good it's the kind of coincides with he's good at mirroring, but not at redirecting. It's like the tree trunk of the legs, not to move, to stay there, stay balanced, and don't let these pass rushers get through you to the quarterback and give your quarterback some time. So obviously I have him above Gutton, and that's because I like his movement. I like his explosiveness. He has better hand placement, but again, he still does lack some things that wouldn't put him in number 3 or above. So, but again, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset if the Dolphins drafted any of these guys. My number 3 guy, Papow, Amarius Mims from Georgia, another big man. 6'7", 340 pounds, ran a 5.07. He's got the ideal build and elite length for the pro level. A lot of people think that he's going to be playing right tackle. I think it was right tackle. I think he predominantly played right tackle in college, or was it left tackle? but he's got what it takes physically, and you know, the strength and everything. Fast, fluid movement, skill for a player's size. Again, he's a big man, fast, can kick it out, get out there. Huge, giant athlete, very flexible to sit in his stance pre-snap and get wide base. Strong player who can displace and redirect. Again, that is the thing that Jordan Morgan lacked in hitting and moving the guys. You want to be able to move them out of your way. You want to be able to put them on their butt. Grip strength is strong when he gets his hands on the inside. That's important. A lot of times you look at plays and you'll see that they're on the inside, right? And they're grabbing them. That's not holding. Holding is getting your hands around the pads. Once you get out here, that's holding. If I hit you and I grab, boom, my job as a defensive end is to get you off of me. So you could do the double down, you could do the double up, you could do the swim, you could do all these different things. But once you get outside the pads and you start grabbing out here, grabbing over here, that's holding. You're essentially hugging me, you're holding me. Here's his cons. Heavy feet. So he's got the strength and all that stuff, but he's kind of got the Frankenstein feet. Again, if he's got the heavy feet, his kickouts are kind of slow, his strides kind of stretch. He needs to work on that movement there. Big guy needs to work on that movement. Smooth athlete, especially for his size, but he does fire off the ball like Broderick Jones did, kind of slow. This is something he'll probably lose some weight if he wants to get faster. He's up there at 340. He could probably get down to about 320, lose some weight, and he's inexperienced. So he doesn't seem to, understand some of the pass sets and stuff like that, but his pluses are things you can't really teach with the fluidity and the strength and stuff, and his hand placement and, playing on the pro level and all that stuff. And that's why I got him at number 3. The next guy, my number 2 guy, I had to study how to say his name because I didn't want to butcher it. And that is Olu Fashanu from Penn State. No, I will not try to pronounce his full first name. It is going to be Olu Fashanu from here until he joins the Dolphins, if he does, and says it there. From Penn State, 6'6", 319. See, that's like I was talking about Mims, like he could possibly lose some weight and probably pick up, lose the heavy feet and stuff. That's a good size, 6'6", 319. 6'7", 340. You lose like 20 pounds, you'd be in that little vicinity. He ran a 5'11", 40. He's a big guy and he's impressive. He's an impressive athlete for his size, great footwork and speed and balance. A lot of people thought he was going to come out in the draft last year, but he went back and he played another year at Penn State. When he gets his hands on the inside, he rarely lets the opposition counter him. So again, like I said, not holding here. When it's on the outside, so it's hard to really get him. But he's just, to me, he's number 2. To some people, when you look at their top prospects and of tackles, he's the number 2 overall. Like he's behind Joe Holt. Some people have him because he's just that good. Now his cons are his hands are low in pass protection in 2022. He got exposed. He exposes his chest. So again, you go too low, you expose your chest, you can get pushed there. Kind of did work on that. He's kind of naturally stiff, and he has high pad level, short kick slide. So he needs to work on his technique a little bit, and he needs more of a mean streak in his run game. So he seems to be more of a pass blocking tackle. But these are all things that you can work on, especially with the size of this man and the strength he has in pass blocking. You got a good coach in there, aka Butch Berry. And I wouldn't mind Fashanu at 21. I think that would be great. You could have him play guard for a little bit, and then he can be your left tackle. But you have to have a good coach. With all of these guys, all of their cons, like with Mims having the heavy feet, and with Morgan, his cons being, he not having the strength in the punches, and then with Tyler Gutton, his cons being, he's kind of a pushover. You get the right technique and the right coaching in there, it can really turn the tide there. But with Fashanu, I just think his cons aren't as big as Mims and Morgan and my brain is not working, Gutton. And like I said, to some people, they have him as the number 2 overall tight end tackle. I have him at number 2 technically number 3 because my number 1 is JC Latham. Out of Alabama, 6'6", 335. He's just, I honestly think, you know, he's there at 21. You take him, you know, he could be the next, you know, he could take over for Teron Armstead if we move on from him this year. Natural athletic pre-snap stance, footwork is natural, very balanced and coordinated. Shows an understanding of advanced techniques such as baiting defenders by flashing his hands. And we've seen that. We've seen that a lot. I've seen Teron Armstead do it a few times where, you know, you fake them that they're going to take one guy and then you go and take the other. It's smart. And that's something that these other guys, you don't really hear about them. Arm length is more than adequate for the position at the pro level. Hands are up, active, fast for initial contact and resetting. So again, they set and then they hit. You always see them hitting and moving. So you want to reset and hit in the right spots versus just jabbing like Iandu in Street Fighter. He has the power to move people over. And again, that's where some of these other guys like Morgan lacked in having that power. Now his cons. For his size, he isn't as imposing with strengths as you would think. So again, maybe he needs to work on that strength a little bit. Maybe it's more of a technique issue. Maybe it's more of where, you know, where his frame is when it comes to making those jabs. His anchor ability is a good due to size and wide base, but he does get punched back a bit on bull rushes. So again, that's where kind of the strength and the imposingness come in. He can get over aggressive in his pass sets. And a lot of times when you get over aggressive and you over pursue on your blocks, you can get thrown to your face and leave the block wide open. But I think JC Latham, in my opinion, is number 2 to Joe Holt. Then Fashanu, Mims, Morgan, and Gutton. Now, Gutton would be, for me, 55. Gutton and Morgan, I would take at 55. And then Mims and Fashanu and Latham would probably be an okay pick at 21. I'll get more into that when we get into other positions of need for the Miami Dolphins. And corner isn't one of them, so I'm not going to talk about corners. I am going to talk about safeties, though, because I kind of need a safety. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think of my ranking of these tackles? Whose name did I butcher? If I didn't butcher anyone's name, say good job for once in your life, Doug. Comment below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Saturday video, like I said, I owe you one for not doing one yesterday. Appreciate you all. And like usual, stay classy. I've ended up.